Hello, Mikhail. Hello, Mikhail. Mikhail. Can you hear? Hello, Daria.
Yes, hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Fine, thank you. Hello, Mikhail.
What? Sorry,
So I just greeted Mikhail, who joined us. Good evening, Mikhail. How are you?
Oh,
hello.
So many people.
So many.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk today about our favorite period in history. Let's imagine that we can choose whatever time and whatever country we would like to live in. Tell me, please, and explain why. So, all the history starting from Stonehenge or Sumer and Babylon till nowadays. Daria, so if you could choose, what period would you like? Can you hear me, Daria?
But also, I hear our previous talk about greetings.
Okay, Daria, close the another maybe screen on your browser, you know? Where is it? Помогло сейчас? Если вы другие окна в браузере закроете, да? Там... Видите, где это делать?
No. Yes, I hear you, but also I hear some previous talk.
У вас в браузере открыты другие окна, кроме вот этого окна, где мы разговариваем?
Yes, I understand. Yes, that was the problem. I coped with it.
Okay, now it's clearer.
And now I'm ready to talk with you. Everything is all right?
Oh, wonderful. Now you hear me well? Right? So, answer my question, please. So, what period in history of humanity you would like to live in, and why?
This question was for me, yes?
Yes, Daria, for you.
You know, I think I would like to live in 19th century because it was a period of great development, and
Yes.
maybe if I were how to say, I don't know how to say, if I had a great education, if I could get this education, I would become a great inventor, and maybe I could find some interesting things. Because now I cannot found something. Everything is on Earth already. Yes, everything is discovered, and there are only some stupid inventions which people do not need in our life. That's the problem.
But don't you think that it would be a little bit difficult for a lady to be an inventor in the 19th century? Ladies didn't have rights.
So that's why I said that if I could get a great education, it would be a problem. But I think if I would be, I forgot the word, stubborn. I don't know if I can use this word. Yes. if I had some connections with some influential people, yes. So maybe I could be a great inventor, because in my childhood I used to
You used to invent something? In what domain? In what
no,
field?
I used to look through some mechanisms in alarms. Yes, you know, I have some problems with my speech because I graduated from philology faculty, and nearly for half an hour, for half a year, I don't have any great practice because I'm a teacher of English in 5th year. And these pupils, they cannot speak, and also 8th form also cannot speak, and that is the problem, and that's why I look for some communication. Yes, that is not by the thing, but
so let's communicate. And good evening, Luba. Nice to see you. How are you?
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm much better, thank you. And how are you, Tatiana?
Fine, thank you. Alexander, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So, we already started our discussion about the favorite period in history. So, Daria has chosen the 19th century. Luba, what would be your choice and why?
Wow, probably I would like to live in 60s years. I mean, 19th century. Because that time... Sorry?
Also 19th century, so you could meet there with Daria.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes,
Go on.
That time, finally, I find that time was really great time with
Why?
With development of medicine, with good development of medicine, of culture, and that time our country, I mean, that USSR country was very successful in the development. The first man.
What country?
USSR? You are sure? USSR was
I'm sorry.
in the
19th century.
I'm not so good in the history, but I suppose yes. That time we were very successful in in weapons. Our first man, I mean Gagarin, was
also 20th century, if I'm not mistaken. 2061.
Sorry? 1961, yes.
1961 was it, yes.
Yes, it was the 12th of April of 1961.
Yeah, so still it's 12th century, not 19th, but 12th. Yes, the century of development. Yes.
Ну да, 12th.
Go on. Go on.
And also in 19th century, my vocabulary says serf rule, крепостное право, was abolished. 1861.
It's very difficult to choose. In what century, I mean 19th or the 20th, the development of sciences and of knowledge was more impressive, was bigger. Alexander, what would be your choice?
I didn't understood what
I didn't
what I didn't
repeat.
understand what theme is it? What topic is it now?
Our subject is my favorite period in history. If I had all the possibilities, what time and what country I choose. So, Tanya has chosen the 19th century, Luba the 20th century. What is your choice?
Maybe 21st century, if it's possible.
21st century. So you're a lucky person. You just time you really live. Why, Alexander?
I like modern life maybe.
What especially? What is the most precious things for you in modern times?
Как это сказать, все удобности, которые сейчас существуют.
Conveniences, all the conveniences we have.
All the conveniences that we have now.
For example?
Transport,
civilization.
Half an hour and you're in the other country, and before it took time, just weeks to travel somewhere. Didn't it?
Sorry.
So you mentioned transport. It's really a kind of a miracle, because now it takes you a couple of hours to travel to any place of universe.
Yes, I agree.
Go on. What else except transport?
Communicating with people around the
Communications.
world. Communication. Yes. Science, interest and knowledge.
Yes.
And that's all, I think.
Yes, it's quite enough to choose it.
What about the level of carbon dioxide?
Yes, very good question. So we have a lot of positive things, but we have problems that the world has never had before. What can you say about problems of the modern world? Alexander?
Pollution.
Air pollution.
Air pollution, water pollution, wars.
I'm afraid that wars has always been. There was not a single period in history when people didn't have wars. So, but of course, they never had such pollution of air, water, and soil. So, but still, it's worth it to consider.
And also, maybe you have seen the film, which is called The Home, which is prohibited in many countries. It is about the level of carbon dioxide in the world, about cutting down forests, about other problems, about that fact that USA use a lot of resources. They pollute the air, they pollute the earth. And I recommend you to watch this film and understand the problem of the 21st century. It is not only civilization, it's also a lot of problems. Problems in Africa, problems with the water, problems with food. Yes, we can read that the civilization is near us, but a lot of problems.
Maybe you are quite right, and I just wanted to ask you, and were there any problems in the 19th century when you would like to live? And what were they?
In my century?
Yes, your century.
Yes, there were, and if we imagine the situation, there are problems. Problems with these. I don't know how to say. The technologies only start to develop, and there isn't any good systems for cleaning the air. Clean systems are not developed and even are not invented. I do not exactly remember. I only know that technologies were hard for
knowledge is singular.
Yes, technologies say don't say knowledge. I don't know how to say.
Yes, go
on. The idea is there aren't many technologies, but this few amount of them is very junk for ecology. And this is the period when this pollution had started.
Yes, so you see the root problem we have today, they are just in the century that you've chosen. Luba, and what were the main problems of the 20th century? What do you think? You said about positive things, and what about problems? Luba, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Now I can a little bit better, probably. So, if we take the whole 20th century, then there were two big wars at the very beginning. I mean, the First World War and the Second one.
Yes.
And it took a lot of people's lives that time, and a lot of bad consequences for not only for our country but for others as well.
For all the world, yes, because the two world wars, of course. And unfortunately, people perished in the 20th century not only in wars, but in totalitarian societies, such as our country. Yes, the figure is that almost the same quantity of people, 20 million people, were killed in the USSR, the same quality that were killed during wars. Alexander, you wanted to add something?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Oh, sorry, can you hear now?
Yes.
Right. So, Luba, and you said that you would like to live in the 20th century, and if you can choose the country, what country would you choose?
It's hard to answer. Probably the same country, because I know much more about my own country than about others. And I'm not so good in the history, but in the general I know. And I would choose exactly the 60s, 70s years. I mean, after the second, after the World War II. Or the
second. After World War II. Yes, 60s they were very nice, really. So it's just appearance of a movement of hippie, of rock and roll, and so on. Yes. Have you heard about the subculture of hippie? Luba?
I cannot hear you. I'm sorry, but I didn't catch what was the answer.
Alexander?
Yes. Yes.
So, Right. So, the same question to you, Alexander. So, Luba would choose this country, the country she was born in. And what about you? Would you like to be born in another country, or you are quite happy with being born in Russia?
I wouldn't like to be born in other country. I prefer to born in my country.
Yes, you're a very lucky person. So you like the place and the time. So wonderful. Then, if the majority of you are so happy, let's just talk about opposite thing. And tell me, please, what is the period and the country that you would hate to live in? You want least of all. So the most unpleasant period for you. What is it? Любочка?
Probably I wouldn't like to live in Egypt. I mean,
You
the
mean ancient?
ancient
Modern.
ancient time, yes, because I'm not sure would be I that time like oh, I don't know. You know, that time there were a lot of Sclaven, or how is it in English? Sorry, I must consult dictionary. People who are not free, I mean, who work hard.
Slaves.
Could you write, please? Because I don't know this word.
Just a moment. Wait a moment. Slaves. So, yes, of course, there were slavery at that epoch, but civilization was rather interesting, wasn't it? Hello, Valery.
Hello, Tatiana.
Can you hear me, Valery?
Yes, I can.
So, we're just talking about the favorite period. So, can you answer this question? What period would you like to live in? What century and what country, if you had all the possibilities?
Well, it's a very hard question.
Why?
First of
What is
all,
hard about it?
I'd like to live at my own time, because I would feel very awkward if I lived in not my century or in another country, moreover at a different time, because it would be very difficult for me to get used to other realities. It would be a great shock for me, so I can't imagine myself living at another time period. Well, but if you press me,
If you like your time, so it's wonderful. Then explain why you prefer just our time.
First of all, I'm a person who belongs to this time period, so it's my time, it's my country, and I'm used to living it. Okay, whether it's bad or good, so if I lived at another time period, I would feel like a fish out of water, because again, it would be very difficult for me to get used to. But, well, if you press OK, I will give you the answer that I will choose maybe the 70s, last century, and the USSR, when things were very stable, and I was born in the USSR, so I know one or two things about life back in the USSR, and things were very stable. You knew, and you could expect what you expected. You might expect what to happen in the future. So yeah, we'll choose this Brezhnev era, when things were very stable. Yes, and maybe it wasn't so interesting to live, but I think I'd choose stability rather than risky life.
But it's very interesting, Valery. Don't you think that there is a certain contradiction? You just prefer our modern time, that the last epithet is stable, and you prefer one of the most stable, if not to say just stagnant period. So then, if you like stability, why then do you like living in modern time?
Well, because I live at this time, and I'm used to it. I know my own place at this time. So for me, it's habitual, and this is my pool. I'm like a fish, floating and existing in this pond, in this pool. Yes, and if I were taken to another pool, yes, I would feel awkward. Yes, it would be difficult for me to get used to another reality. So, well, I've never imagined myself living in another time period.
Develop your imagination.
Pardon?
Maybe, Daria?
Develop your imagination. And I think if you were born in that country in that time, I think it would be why.
The sound is very bad. I don't hear.
Where are you?
I don't hear Daria at all.
I think Daria has a disconnect with the internet. Something like that. Okay.
Right. So, Mikhail, you haven't told us yet what period and what country you would like to live in.
No, it's hard.
Have you ever imagined it?
I don't know. It's the different period. It's like have some interesting differences, and maybe I like to choose the maybe 2 or 3 periods. It's like Valery says. It's like USSR in a period of maybe not Brezhnev, but it's interesting for me. It's like a growing period near the maybe.
And what positive things do you see in the period of Brezhnev? For Valery, it's stability. What attracts you in this period?
Well, for me, it's interesting to growth. I don't remember where is the start of this growth. I think it's near the 1955, something like that. And I can choose another variant. It's like maybe 15th century in Italy, and that region. It's like Renaissance period. It's very interesting to discuss.
Renaissance period, yes, Renaissance is very interesting. And what country would you like to live in?
Maybe it's Italy, because it's like how to say, like the center of the.
Yes, one of the highest cultures of Renaissance period.
In Florence.
Sorry?
In Florence, in Italy.
Yes.
Yes, Florence is a wonderful city, but not only Florence, Rome, Venice, Genoa, they were just independent centers. And what profession would you like to have if you lived in a Renaissance time, Mikhail?
It's an interesting question. I think the most interesting people, it's like
painter and architecture.
Definition or term. I don't know. Term is English word, no? Term.
Sorry?
Special term. It's like.
What about?
Есть
What term?
термин вообще на английском? Термин. Ну, что
Term. Special term.
It's like man of the Renaissance. It means that the people has a different specialties in one time. It's like a painter. It's like an architecture. It's like maybe I don't know, a politic.
Musician.
Yes, it's one of the special things about Renaissance times that the people were developed in many directions. There was no narrow speciality as we have now. And of course, the most bright example is Leonardo da Vinci, who was scientist, painter, and whatever, and made discoveries just in all the domains. Right. And then I would like, Valery, to ask you the same question as I asked already, and Luba told that the period she wouldn't like to live most of all is Egypt, because there existed slavery. What for you is the most horrible period to live?
Of course, that would be Nazi Germany, especially if I were a Jewish person. I wouldn't like to live in Germany during the 30s and 40s last century. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. And for Jewish people, it was dangerous physically, but I think being even Germans at that period, it was a horrible shame for the whole nation. Yes.
They weren't ashamed. I think that they took it for granted because, well, they were ashamed of being poor and being humiliated by the results of the First World War, and they knew about what was happening to the Jewish people, but they weren't ashamed of these facts. So they just took it for granted. So
maybe we are talking just about majority of people, but still people who thought that, for example, the works of Thomas Mann, nevertheless he was German, they were forbidden in Germany at that period because he really was ashamed of his nation.
Yeah, but only a very small part of German population was ashamed, but the greatest majority of them dreamt of invading the whole world and having the Slavic people being slaves for them. So they dreamt of becoming, rich, landowners in Russia, Ukraine. So that was their focus, and of course they didn't think about Jewish people being tormented and dying in concentration camps. So they only thought about themselves. So
yes, you're quite right.
And what do you think about the idea that Hitler was Jewish by nationality?
Well, it's bullshit, of course. There weren't any Jewish roots, so these are just ideas generated by somebody. I don't know. Of course, he wasn't Jewish, and actually, it's hard to explain his hatred towards Jewish people. So scientists and biographers of Hitler haven't found his reason for hating Jews so much. Well, maybe the reason is that he was psychologically ill person.
I think that the problem is Charles Darwin and this science eugenica. I don't know how to say in English.
Eugenics.
Eugenics, yes. They tried to get together better people according to their appearance. What do you think about this science?
Where from such idea that Hitler was Jewish? Where from?
I've read a lot of times about this
It's
theory.
like yellow press, you know?
Yeah, these are rumors or gossip and I don't just silly ideas. Yeah.
You know, history is a slut. So.
Well, it's quite easy to biographers of Hitler. Well, actually, in Western Europe, through churches, it was quite easy to trace your ancestors through church records, and so there weren't any Jewish ancestors of Adolf Hitler. So that's a scientific proof. Yeah, these are just rumors, some gossip to raise additional interest to Hitler's figure.
So, Daria, you mentioned eugenica. Can you explain to us what does it mean? What kind of science is it, eugenica?
For me, it's imaginary science because I cannot understand how we can say that one person is better because he or she has fair hair, blue eyes.
But wait a moment, Daria. You started from your attitude, but maybe somebody doesn't know for sure what does it mean eugenica. So explain, please, what is this science or pseudoscience?
Pseudoscience. It's a pseudoscience.
What is the essence of this science?
It came from Charles Darwin.
I'm afraid you're not quite right. It's rather far from.
No. It started from Charles Darwin's theory and also Ford. I forgot his name. Ford. Who invented who invented these cars? He said that we can say if a person is good.
Charles Darwin and Ford, who invented cars. What has Ford to do with eugenica?
What he did with
what he has to do.
It was said that we can decide if person is better.
Maybe I help.
Maybe you can help.
Yes.
Daria, can you tell us, please, what eugenica is? What does it deal with?
Yeah, eugenics.
It deals with our appearance.
With our.
So we can say by our appearance, we can say if a person is from higher level of development, better people, worse people.
But it's not only about appearance. I think the main idea is like it's like a way to make smart, different maybe people. If you choose two person which very smart, and I think it's a big person to person of variation to have a very smart people. Yes, you know.
Aryan people, Arite?
No, not Aryans. I talk about smart. It's like maybe scientist.
That we can regulate and breed people like pedigree animals and make them better. Yes. Valery, can you add something?
Well, eugenics is not only about the appearance of people, but also about killing, exterminating people with genetical diseases, and so the Nazis were trying to cleanse their nation of people, of disabled people or people with mental diseases, you know, and so they were trying to generate a very healthy generation, and possibly with blue eyes, you know, fair hair, you know, to match such people to the ideal of an Aryan person who is blue-eyed, fair-haired, and completely healthy and devoid of any genetical diseases. Very strong physically and mentally. Well, that's my idea of eugenics.
Yes, of course, you're quite right. And now we see interesting things. If we look at Germans, today's German, or French people, or British people, we can't feel that they really made some progress in creating the best people. And tell me, please, what country knew something was oriented to something like this? In what countries unhealthy children were killed immediately?
In Sparta, in ancient Sparta.
Yeah, right, ancient Sparta. Luba, have you heard about ancient Sparta?
Yes, I have heard, of course, and I know this fact that was that time.
Mm-hmm. Valery, can you tell us something about Sparta?
Yes, the newborns were gathered by appearance, and weak children were thrown down from the
cliff.
Cliff. Yes, cliff. From the cliff. Yes, yes.
Into the gorge. Into the gorge, yeah, or deep ravine.
Yes.
Yes, and they decided only by appearance. And also in ancient Greece, there was some cult of body. Cult of body.
Body cult.
Body cult, but you see, these two civilizations are completely different, Sparta and ancient Greece.
Yes, I understand, but also in ancient Greece there was some body cult. That's what I wanted to say.
So you consider that it was body cult and they didn't bother about their souls, or just mentality?
Of course, they bothered about their souls, but people must have been physically strong. It was important to care about not only about the soul and mental abilities, but also about the body.
Yeah, so then maybe we can't say that it's body cult when people like modern culturists, for example, that really have a body cult, and there was just the whole. So the spirit and the body had to be beautiful and perfect. Mm-hmm. And how interesting. We know so much about culture of ancient Greece and nothing, almost nothing about Sparta. We only know that they were very good warriors.
300 Spartans.
Sorry?
This legend about 300 Spartans. 300 Spartans.
Yeah. Yes, but again, you see, just doing war, this legend.
And also from my
marathon. Yes, please.
And also from my pedagogical education, I remember that there is Spartan system of upbringing children, and another which is more more soft. I forgot its name. Our teacher mentioned it once, and so there was strict system and there was soft system of upbringing children. Strict one was Spartan, another one I forgot, unfortunately.
Right, they really have a strict system. So, and what is Sparta's heritage in modern world that everybody knows?
Pardon? I didn't hear you.
Something to do with sport. Valery.
Sparta's heritage.
Yes, something in sport, well-known sport is connected with Sparta. What exactly? Marathon. In what way it is connected to Sparta?
Well, I guess that Sparta waged a war against some people, and I remember a legend about one runner who ran 41 kilometers as soon as possible to bring the happy news to the people, and so he covered that distance, and he exclaimed that we have won, and he dropped to the ground being dead, after this running.
That's right. That's why this distance, it's not just 40 kilometers or 35, but 41 something, because it was exactly this distance for the marathon. He brought good news and dropped dead. That's right. Right, so you see that many things repeat. The slavery from ancient Egypt and till the 20th century, the desire to improve human nature, and so on. Luba, can you hear us?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can.
So, sorry, I can't.
What was the question? Or you didn't ask something?
Right. So, I just, after we talked about all these things, would you be less afraid to live in ancient Egypt or not? Because you see, so the slavery existed and there was a possibility of slavery even in the 20th century.
Yes, I know it, but no, I wouldn't like to live that time. That and another one in our country, from the history, there was this slavery as well, and about colonies of Great Britain and France in other countries. They were like slaves as well, and I don't know how is it nowadays. Probably there exists something like slavery as well nowadays, but it has another one form of this.
Where does it?
Sorry?
Where does slavery exist nowadays? You said the slavery exists today. Where?
Probably in economy or some political systems, like to put some countries into their hands, so to say. I mean, European Union, it's like a slavery as well. It seems to me so, because some countries that had previously had their own economy, their own currency, they haven't it now.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand. What do you mean, slavery in European Union?
Some countries, like, for instance, I don't know, like Bulgaria, or probably I'm not right, but they haven't their own currency, they haven't their own economy. They just common in one country, European Union. I mean, it's not exactly slavery as we understood it, but in a other meaning.
Yeah, Luba, you're exaggerating things.
So you mean that if they don't have
you're
their currency?
Exaggerated things.
Exaggerated, but
why not? In global meaning, it is so. Because European Union makes country close their economy to fulfill some their условия.
Conditions.
Yes, some their conditions to get to this European Union, and this is some kind of slavery.
Dashenka, and what countries did they make to close the economy? Maybe I missed something.
Some Baltic countries, Балтийские страны. 2 of them.
Baltic?
Yes. I read something about it.
You must read it in a very special newspaper. If you compare development of the countries, Soviet times, and now, it's the difference is enormous, and of course, the difference is to the better.
And what about, for instance, Greek?
What about?
She has a lot of doubts. Greek, for instance, she has a lot of doubts. I mean, economy. She is in a bad condition. Its economy is in bad condition, and such rich countries like Germany owes money, yes, to Greece.
Such rich countries give them money. So you call it slavery when somebody gives you money because you don't want to work?
No, but
no,
they will make like a slavery after that.
After that, yes, probably.
Right now they have a rest, and they we couldn't work, and we don't want to work. And when they have a lot of these like debts and credits, I think the situation will change it. It's like everybody will need to work, and maybe we can name this like slavery, because you will work for not very big money. It's like in Ukraine, you know, the situation, and whereas maybe the teacher in France and in Germany, how big is the salary of the teachers? Yes, and how Ukraine? We can think about it.
Let's just look at it at the example of people, for example.
Tatiana, we can hear Daria because she wants to say something about the teachers.
Please.
Yes, thank you. You know, I read that teacher in the USA gets nearly $4,000, And in Ukraine, I get only 1,000 hryvnias for 2/3 ставки. I don't know
Not
how to say.
full day. Working not full day.
No. No.
To explain to American to English 2/3 of salary, so not full day.
Yes, for not full day. And I think for full day it would be 1,500, nearly so.
How much is it in dollars?
In dollars.
100 something.
100 and.
Could you repeat how much?
120. Like
yes, 120.
It's like 100, not 1,000. 100.
1,000, yeah. Right, so go on, Daria. Yes, you compared salaries, go on.
Yes, I compared salaries, and it was my misfortune to become a teacher at school, because I had a master degree, and I supposed I would be at Utah at university. I would develop my English, and now I cannot take part in this video discussion on normal level because I forgot a lot of words. I haven't spoken from May.
Since May.
Since May, yes.
What do you teach, Daria?
English. And I try to speak with my pupils, and very often they do not understand me. They say, Дарья Васильевна, что вы сказали? Повторите, мы не поняли. What English? What English at all? Even if we have 5 lessons a week, they do not understand me. They try to make some hysterics. They shout "Bandu ghetь" in Ukrainian. I do not know what to do with these children. They don't want to speak. For example, we have some statement on the blackboard, and I ask, do you agree or don't you agree? Do you want to say something? Some question that makes discussions. They do not want to speak. They just say, I do agree. That's all. This is our communication in 8th class.
So very slowly and gradually we came from the slavery, from the problem of slavery to secondary school. Yes, there is something in common in these two. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for what you said, for sharing your opinions. And hope
Thank
to
you very much
see
to
you
you,
next
Tatiana.
time.
Thank you for the lessons.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.
It was interesting, but very bad sound.
Yeah, something
A
wrong
little.
with it. Let's hope that next time it would be better. See you
Okay.
next Tuesday. Bye.
See you next time.
Goodbye.